Hey everybody. Yeah, this is a bit of a response to Brad Rules and his little Yu-Gi-Oh rant. Now apparently Brad, from what we've seen, is a huge fan of anime. And obviously he's a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. And as you can tell, so am I. I think I need to put this on the other wrist, don't I? But yeah, he's obviously a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I figured, you know what? I talked about the differences before. And then I hear him doing this little rant video, or this little video after he did his Raw review. It's kind of surprising. He's got two channels though, one for rants and I guess one for his reviews. But yeah. And you know, he talked about a little bit of the show mainly, and you know, I thought he did a good analysis on the show. You know, for a short video. I thought he did a pretty good analysis. But I thought, again, you know, this being a reply, I thought I'd kind of give my own analysis on Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, especially the show. And again, I talked about the anime differences and the differences between the English dubbed anime and the Japanese anime original, the original anime version. And, you know, as far as the characters go, you know, you gotta understand one thing. I mean, this is something this is something that, you know, obviously the 2000s have been known for. You know, they've been known to do this. I mean, you're taking a look at Sonic X, Yu-Gi-Oh, and a few others in between, and they've all had this one thing. You know, he talks about one character, he talks about kind of looking like she's, you know, that she's some kind of straight. Basically, he talks about one character seducing another character, and this other character she's seducing seems younger. And of course, we're talking about Mai seducing Rex. Well, you gotta understand one thing. Yeah, Rex looks small, Rex looks like he's younger, but the truth is, age is an open book when it comes to Japanese anime. Yeah, it's an open book, you know. I mean, you can make a character look young and actually describe that they are young, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Now, you see, the reason she was seducing him anyways, because she just seduced him into a duel for a few cards that he had that she needed. Now, there's another reason a character like Mai was around. It's the same reason with Taya. You see, Mai was brought in to eventually become the love interest, if you will, of Joey Wheeler. Now, there was an attraction, there's no doubt about that. Let's not kid ourselves. But she was brought in to be the foil to Joey. Because you see, Taya became the foil or the love interest of Yugi. Now, I know what you think. Now, Brad pretty much said that, you know, if she wasn't going to acknowledge that there could be something more, and obviously there were hints throughout the entire series, then why is she even there? Why does she just want to be a friend? The truth is, Brad, there was an attraction. Let me give you an example. When the third season, Waking the Dragons, came around, there was a character that returned to become a main part of that season. This character appeared in the final 5 episodes of season 1. In the first of the final 5 episodes of season 1, or actually in the last the first 2 out of the final 5 episodes of season 1. Her name was Rebecca Hawkins, and obviously when you look at her, she's about probably Yugi's age, maybe a year or so younger. But when Rebecca started to come on to Yugi and say, hey, Yugi's her boyfriend, it's because of this and that and whatever, what happened? Taya became jealous. Now you gotta understand, it's not because she was becoming jealous at the fact that, yes, Rebecca was just all over Yugi, like you could say Amy Rose is over Sonic the Hedgehog. But it's more along the lines that Taya, through that jealousy, showed that she does have an attraction. She does care about Yugi more than just as a friend. But it's also the fact that her attraction to Yugi grew even more so with the fact that when she found out Yugi was sharing his body spiritually with Yami, or with Atem, if you will, the Pharaoh, spirit of the Millennium Puzzle, that's when she really started to take notice. Yeah, you might say, well, now I know you might say, Brad, like, oh, well, the only reason she took notice was because of Atem. She didn't care about Yugi as long as she can get in bed with Atem, or with Yami, or the Pharaoh. I totally understand where you and anybody else would come up with that solution. But you have to understand, when Rebecca was doing what she did, kind of embracing, flirting with Yugi and all that, did Taya just stand by and say, hey, I'm just going to let it be, not say anything? No, she was jealous. I mean, heck, you even had this one girl who, if you watch the last Japanese credits of the original series, the final credits in the final episode, this one girl who teams up with Mai in a duel against Rex and Weevil, I can't think of her name right now, but she tries to seduce and be attracted to Yugi. And of course, Taya, a couple of times, has to really just, through traditional Japanese anime style, really just let it be known that there's no such thing, there's no attraction, there's none of this kind of crap. And basically, the reason for that is because she cares about Yugi more than just a friend. But it's kind of an example with me in high school. You see, I was attracted to several girls. One girl, and some of them I'm still friends with. But this one girl who I was attracted to, she knew how I felt. And she knew how I felt about her. But the way she looked at me, and eventually she kind of opened my eyes and made me realize the same thing, is yeah, we could be more. But the thing is though, we look at each other as just like a brother and sister kind of deal. I know that sounds strange, but that's how it was. And basically what she said, she kind of looked at us like brother and sister. It was more along the lines of she saying, yeah, she would probably consider it, but because of the fact that we were always seeing each other every day in school, it's basically, long story short, I'm trying to think what else I can say here, but basically, long story short, she didn't want to jeopardize our friendship. That was the thing. And character-wise, when you look at Taya, from a character standpoint, yeah, you could tell she cared about Yugi in a huge way, but she did not want to endanger the friendship she had grown with it. She and Yugi had since they were kids. She didn't want to endanger that by trying to take it to the next level, even though it's hinted and shown that she cares about Yugi as well as the Pharaoh, even though it shows that she's attracted very much so to the Pharaoh. I mean, she even did a thought process in one of the episodes, in one of the final episodes of the final duel, and she asked us, she kind of holds her breath out of sigh. She's like, oh, thank goodness, because, Yugi survives an attack by the Pharaoh in the final duel. And then all of a sudden, she just gets this look on her face, this gasp and shocked expression on her face. And in her mind, she's like, oh my God, when did I start cheering for Yugi? It's like it just dawned on her, right then and there, that she was cheering for Yugi because she cares about him just as she's attracted to him, just as she's been attracted to the Pharaoh. Basically, what she was acknowledging there, and this was in the English dub, that inside she wanted Yugi and Pharaoh to have a good duel and let the best duelist win. But she was cheering for the Pharaoh because she wanted him to stay, because she was attracted to him. She was in love with him. But as soon as she started to cheer for Yugi a little bit, to her shock and amazement, she started to realize that she has that same feeling for Yugi. I mean, even in the original end credits, when they come back on the plane, and Rebecca's there embracing Yugi and all that, Taya gets jealous. It tells you Taya cares about him. But again, it's that old situation of the fact, it's that saying, basically it's what I said. It's basically what I used for an example, and the example being that Taya doesn't want to endanger the friendship just yet. She doesn't want to endanger losing her friendship with Yugi because she wants to take it to that next level. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. It's crazy, but it's true. So, as far as the other character goes, Joey and Tristan, yeah, you may not like Tristan. He was basically there at times for comic relief and basically like a buddy-buddy situation with Joey. Think of them, in a sense, as one of those comedic tag teams you've seen throughout history in wrestling. Think of them like that. They're kind of like the buddy-buddies, if you will. But mainly also because, here's the thing. Tristan was always just there for support. And yes, Tristan did duel. Let's not forget that. He has had a share of dueling. He just doesn't compete like, Yugi and like Yugi and Joey does. And Joey, speaking of him, yes, he has an Italian accent, He has that Italian accent, that Brooklyn accent, if you will. But the reason he's treated the way he is to show that, yeah, he may be a goofball at times, but he's also can be taken seriously, especially when it comes to dueling. You know what I'm saying? I got my cards backwards. Go figure. But when it comes to dueling, he can be taken very seriously. The truth is, the show, yeah, may have been weird even when it was dubbed in America. It may have been weird, but the point is, you got to give them credit, especially as we got into the final few seasons. They tried to make it edgy. You got to admit that. I mean, if you take a look at, you go to that other video where I talked about the differences, and you take a look, you click on the link, where it shows you compares the differences between both shows, you will see what a big difference it is. I mean, I'm surprised the Magna, if you will, allows them to do what the show here in America doesn't let them do. But we also have to be happy that we got uncut DVDs for a time. But, as far as the show itself, I thought it was good. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you folks. I didn't know about the show until I was working at Burger King. I didn't know about it until one of my managers was asking me about it. And I'm thinking, well, what was talking about it? And I'm like, well, what's Yu-Gi-Oh? What's that? I mean, I knew about Pokemon and all that, but I didn't know about Yu-Gi-Oh. And when I heard more about it, looked more into it, and even watched the anime, to me, it was the answer I've been looking for. To me, it was the anime based on a card game, if you will, that I've been looking for that was perfect for older audiences. Not just older kids, older audiences. And to me, I love that aspect about it because the stories were darker, the stories were edgier. I mean, heck, when you compare, like I said, when you go onto this website, heck, I'll provide the link down below in the description box, maybe in the playlist if I have to do a 2-part video. But if you take a look at the differences, oh my goodness. I mean, what a difference between original and dubbed. I mean, there are certain things taken out.